Live printing is essentially screen printing your t-shirts on site at various locations, right then and there on the spot. So we'll bring our screens and smaller equipment and a heating element, whether it's a flasher or conveyor dryer, but something so that we could heat set the ink on site.
When people see us setting up or people see us at events, it's like there's curiosity there. It's exciting to see it live.
It's printing at a mall or a convention center, a restaurant, a brewery, all types of settings. All we need is about a 10 by 10 space and we could set it up.
I'm in one of my favorite cities in the United States, Chicago, and we're going to be doing live printing with our good friends at Apparel Maker. Let's get going.
Apparel Maker actually came from our older son. His name's Cooper, and so a person who makes barrels by trade is a Cooper. So I started Apparel Maker with my wife, and we started in 2009, so we're right at our 10-year anniversary, which is crazy. I bought a small printing press and immediately went out to schools and businesses and friends and said, we have this amazing print shop and we could do anything. And actually one of our first jobs that we did was a 4-color process print on a 1-station manual press in our apartment. And it was for a school. It was like 1,000 shirts. And
wow.
We didn't know how to print. We didn't know what 4-color process meant. We learned all that we got the order, and my wife would stay up all night sick to her stomach, being like, oh my God, what did you get us into? And we would call local screen printing shops and suppliers and reach out and say hey, here's the job we got, we're paid on it, we need to do it, what do we need? And we would have people, send us screens or inks or whatever, and eventually you start to piece it together and make sense of it.
Right,
so,
build the airplane while it's flying down, right?
Sure, yeah, it's one way to learn. Our first live printing event was a pretty big event. We did a corporate outing. After we did that event, we really felt okay, this is something that we could continue to do. It seemed like a good fit for us. We bought liveprinting.com and we started focusing on doing more white label live events.
Sure.
So sort of built the site out a little bit more intentionally to take it bigger and try and focus on events around different cities. We started doing more and more events. We got Lollapalooza, just a lot more corporate type gigs. So we've done Spotify and Hulu and Twitter and kind of bigger brands. So that was a huge shift for us.
I think that generally people don't really know how shirts are made. There are a good amount of people who are just whoa, you just push it on there. It's really fun for people to watch, There's a reason why our tagline is hot off the press, because that's what people say. That's when you give them a warm t-shirt, a lot of people immediately go, oh, hot off the press.
Right. For somebody who's watching the video and they're like, man, I want to get into live printing, what is the 1 or 2 or 3 things that you would say, make sure you understand this before you do it?
We have kind of our basic checklist, which is screens, spatulas, squeegees, catalyst, reducer, tape, etc. And then we typically have, a couple specific things for that event. Honestly, the best advice is to test print whatever you're doing before the event, because
so just do it out in the parking lot to see how you put your booth up,
just
see if it'll
literally
work.
On your press, whatever press you're bringing, set it up and print it, because especially if you're a bigger shop, it's probably a little bit easier if you're smaller and you're doing the stuff yourself. But if you have someone else who's burning your screens, they might not be as aware that maybe it's a tote bag and burn it the wrong way, for the press. And it's a lot easier to, there's so many little mistakes that could happen that when you're in the shop you could fix them, but you can't fix these when you're out in the field. If you go somewhere and you're live printing, you're selling live printing. You're not selling custom shirt printing or embroidery or all these other services that you might do. So I think there's screen printing shops that fall into this thing where they want to go out and live print to help raise more awareness to their custom shop, but people don't see that. People see what you're doing in the moment. They see that you're a live printing shop and they think that that's what you do. For us to do an event in Phoenix is a flight, and it's plane tickets, it's hotel rooms, it's staffing, it's getting all the equipment over there. So we started to look at essentially contract printing, but for live printing. So we started to team up with affiliate shops, and that ended up being like a really good fit. And that's still the model that we use. A lot of the print shops who are doing live events, like they really like going out and being able to print live, but they have trouble booking the events.
Right.
So it's kind of a good fit because we're able to book them and hire these other shops, but then they're able to go out and print, you know, essentially in public settings, which is really exciting.
If somebody's looking for a live event, you can always make it a little bit smaller or scale it down or do, you know, just koozies or just, you know, do just the items that they originally wanted. But if they have, you know, the idea of the live event and you give them the budget, it's really not super expensive. Like, it doesn't have to be a huge, grandiose plan.
I grew up in Chicago. I think it's an amazing place to operate a business, and I think that Chicago itself could be attributed to at least 50% of just our growth. You know, I don't think that we would be the company that we are if we were in a much smaller market. In terms of live printing too, it's been awesome because there are a lot of really big businesses based in Chicago and like corporate headquarters within, you know, not just the city, but within probably like a 50-mile radius of the city. So there's been a lot of really good opportunities there to do live events.
Well, live printing is a big part of our business, but we also do fulfillment. We offer finishing services. We run everything through ShipStation, so they'll run everything through their programs, which will be brought over to ShipStation, and then we have everything in bins, organized, and ShipStation runs the whole thing. We'll print out all the labels in the morning and ship out all their orders that same day.
And those are for online stores?
Yes, and just for other customers that also use us for printing as well. For me, one of my biggest challenges is multitasking. As I'm bouncing from my own desk to the back of the dryers to out here to up front and just overseeing people. So on every day I come in, I know I'm gonna be multitasking, and it's a challenge every day, but it's a rewarding challenge.
Today's event's taking place right here in Chicago, but Barrel Maker does these live events all over the US, coast to coast.
Tonight we are live printing. We're throwing a little party for our employees. It's our 10th year of being in business this
10
year,
years.
2019. So we're gonna print some shirts.
Right.
So some Barrel Maker swag.
It's gonna be really cool. We got some JERZEES 50/50 raglans. One thing that's really nice about live printing is you get to really feature different, nicer, higher end type shirts. So if you're printing live on the spot in front of people, you probably don't want to be printing on like a real cheap kind of crappy shirt. So we always tend to either do something that's like unique in terms of the cut or the finish or something that's a little bit nicer.
When we're prepping for an event, we have a checklist that we go through. All of our live printing stuff is in the live printing room. And we'll go through, we'll knock that checklist out, we'll move everything to the dock, rent a U-Haul, pack up the U-Haul very carefully, and we'll go take everything to the event.
You guys do live printing all over the country.
Yeah.
Is this typical of the setup you have?
Yeah, it's pretty typical. This is a small setup. We've done up to 5 presses at an event, and 5 presses, can be 20 designs,
Right.
max. So we've done some, very large format live printing.
Right.
So this is our smallest setup: 1 press, 1 dryer, and yeah, we're just cranking them out.
Tell us some stories about designing for clients and doing live printing and trying to make it so it can be simpler when you're doing it at the event.
You're not going to probably underbase 90% of the things that you do at live printing events because you don't want to lug around a flash dryer in most cases. So I'm usually designing for light colored shirts or stuff that can be look okay on, like with a 1 pass, like
Right.
on a darker shirt. So like maybe
Yeah.
grays, but use like whites and kind of get that.
So have a vintage look.
Right.
Right. At a live printing experience, are you using all of one size, or is there a size range like the 2442 scale? What do you guys do mostly?
It depends on the event. A lot of times I personally will push people away from sized things. So bandanas, koozies, things like that where you don't have to guess the sizing. If it is a sized type event and you do want t-shirts, I'll try to limit it down to maybe 3 sizes and really just split it up unless they know something that I don't know. And I'll have them order extra because we can always restock the stuff for, I think it's a 20% restocking fee if they, if they don't go through everything, or we can take it back to the shop and print a different design on the extra pieces for another order.
We usually have a barricade. We usually put up a few tables in between us and the guests so that they don't come back and grab squeegees and try to do it on their own, because it does get messy. And then once one squeegee handle gets dirty, they all get dirty. The experience for the individual who's receiving the shirt, they don't know how a shirt's made. They come in and they think it's one big stamp and you're just stamping it on there and it magically dries. Well, we're actually teaching them the process of what it takes to make the shirt that they're wearing. And they're in wow, they're in awe sometimes when you show them the end product and they see it physically being made in front of them. They really think it's cool how it happens.
We're a team, I really think we have an awesome production team. We have a small but really awesome office team, and we're just trying to get shirts out and keep people happy, and there's always going to be problems that come up, but I feel like we work together really well without too much of the blame game going on, when something goes wrong.
They're friends, like we go hang out, we go have dinner together just to talk about lives. It's just like an amazing community and family at Apparel Maker.
I'm really excited for Aaron and Justin to be able to have us all here, and it's super cool that it's came from what it was, a small thing in their apartment, to this big thing and a big, I don't know if they've ever thought that it would grow to be this size, and just to kind of watch the happiness on their face, that makes me really happy.
All right, here's the final result. I think it looks awesome. 4 colors on this Jerzees Premium Blend charcoal shirt. I think it came out great. We're in the middle of this happening bar, having fun. What an awesome job. All right, so that's a wrap. Adventures in Apparel Decorating Season 1 is over. We had so much fun going to shops and learning everything. I can't wait for Season 2. It's gonna be fantastic. Huge shout out to everybody who made this possible. Jerzees, all the shops that played along with us, and you for watching. So stay tuned next year, and we're gonna have more fun with Season 2 of Adventures in Apparel Decorating.